There are $5 accounts in the PS Bank. That is admitted and established on the record.
I am unaware that it is admitted, Mr. Senator.
No. In fact, that was presented here in this court by the president of PS Bank, except that the amounts were covered.
I believe, Mr. Senator, to be precise, that was his testimony. I do not believe that the defense admitted the fact.
No.
The court admitted the evidence, if that's what you mean,
Okay.
or received his testimony before the TRO was issued.
It's on record then. It's on record that these accounts exist.
Yes, I was by admitting.
It is on record that these accounts exist.
It is on record that that was the testimony of the President, Senator. I'm sorry,
yes,
Senator, I really do not know if they exist or not, but I do agree with you that that was what the witness said.
Now, these dollar accounts were not opened. And therefore, because of the TRO of the Supreme Court, we do not know the amounts there. At least it is not on record. Is that correct?
I suppose, Mr. Senator,
Now,
yes.
Is it your position that since this account, the amounts appearing in these accounts cannot, as of this time, be pried open, there is no obligation on the part of the Chief Justice to report this asset?
It is my position, Mr. Senator.
Now, can you answer me? Is it your position that the Chief Justice does not have to report this asset in his SALN?
It is my position that Republic Act 6426 provides for the confidentiality. It is also my position, Mr. Senator, not to be evasive, that if you ask this question to the Chief Justice and he favors you with an answer, then that will be that.
Can you state categorically whether or not there is a dollar account in PS Bank?
I cannot, Senator. To tell you honestly, I do not know the truth of the matter, to tell you honestly.
All right. Assuming that there is that account, without your admitting it, assuming that there is a dollar account, and since it is covered by the confidentiality of the bank secrecy deposit law, is it your position that the Chief Justice is exempted from reporting this asset?
Based on my understanding of the law, Mr. Senator, anybody would be exempted from disclosing the dollar accounts. That is my reading of the law. Now, if it appears plain in the letter of the law that there is no qualification.
No.
Anyone, that is my position.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, there is it is your position, and you equate confidentiality with non-disclosure.
Yes, Mr. In order for the protection of the law to be complete. By the owner. That's right.
By the owner. And can you cite to me which particular provision of the Constitution or the law requiring the filing of the statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth, which would justify this position that because of this confidentiality, you need not report an asset in the statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth?
Yes, Senator. I would cite to you Republic Act 6426.
Which is?
The law regarding the secrecy of foreign currency deposits.
The law on the secrecy of foreign deposits would exempt a government employee from revealing the dollar account.
Yes.
In the SALN.
In the SALN as well.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The gentleman from Pampanga.
Mr. President, this is just an administrative matter. If I'm not mistaken, yesterday or the other day, the Senate President had publicly stated his desire to extend the hours of our proceedings so that we can hopefully terminate the proceedings before we go on Senate adjournment. In fact, there was a proposal to have...
not later than the 31st of this month.
Yes. In fact, there was a proposal to have marathon hearings up to 10 in the evening. Yesterday, Mr. President, we went through hearings until around before 5 o'clock, and today we will be ending in a few minutes before 6:30, and tomorrow we won't be convening, and Thursday we won't be convening. So my concern, Mr. President, is perhaps this should be discussed in caucus in view of the development, and that we are now losing rather than gaining in terms of trial hours, that we adjust for next week and come up with a timetable that will make up for lost time, Mr. President.
We will have a caucus on Monday.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, the gentleman from Misamis Oriental.
The resolution for thank you, Mr. President. On February 13, if I'm not mistaken, this court issued a resolution to respect the TRO of the Supreme Court dated February 9, 2012, in connection with the petition filed by PS Bank against the Senate sitting as an impeachment court. And the majority vote to respect was 13 versus 10. No? And in light of this development that, the dollar accounts of the Chief Justice are being discussed in the media, Defense Counsel has raised the possibility of the Chief Justice himself confronting the issue head-on. So I believe, Mr. President and my colleagues, that it's time for us also now to really confront this issue of the dollar accounts. And since I premised my vote in that resolution on the reasoning that I want to give the Supreme Court time to correct itself, I said that I exercise senatorial statesmanship, hoping that the Supreme Court will exercise judicial statesmanship by withdrawing the TRO. But I think a long period of time has passed and the Supreme Court has not acted on the TRO or lifted the TRO on the petition of the PS Bank. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Senator, may I respond? If I comprehend the tenor of what you're saying, you are going to ask the Honorable Court to reconsider its position on the TRO. May I request that if there are any complications regarding the TRO and any information is going to fall within the ambit of the TRO, let it be by waiver rather than by rejection.
No.
Perhaps that might be a more palatable turn of events, Mr. Senator.
Yeah, but it's my personal opinion. No, so I also premise my vote on that ground that it's a temporary vote to, as far as I'm concerned, no, to respect the TRO issued by Supreme Court. Hence, I'm informing the Senate President and my colleagues that I am reconsidering my vote, and it's from 13-10. It should now be counted as 12-11. I am now voting in favor of enforcing our order for PS Bank and the other banks to now divulge to the impeachment court all data and information regarding the foreign currency accounts of the respondent.
Mr. Senator,
but it's still a minority decision. And then, Your Honor, if possible, if we could revisit the resolution dated February 13 in a caucus on Monday, Your Honor.
Mr. President, may I just
Just a minute.
just a short statement, Mr. President.
Anyway, there is a promise here that the Chief Justice is coming to this court to testify. And at that point, I assume, given his stature and the necessity, the importance of his credentials as a magistrate to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. And he hears this statement ever so often when he presides over the proceedings of the Supreme Court. Then we may ask him at that point to motu proprio instruct the bank to release his bank account, the foreign currency bank accounts. So we'll wait until that time.
May we recognize Senator Lacson, Mr. President?
The gentleman from Cavite.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since the defense panel team is here, I'd like to ask you if the Chief Justice would be willing to, in effect, sign a waiver.
We did not go that far, Mr. Senator. Let us not.
If he takes the witness stand and he will just invoke RA 6426, then we'll go back to zero.
If I may, Mr. Senator, let us give him an opportunity to
No, I'm just
hear
asking
first.
us, the counsel. Is there a possibility for you to convince the Chief Justice that when he takes the witness stand, he will in effect sign a waiver of his rights under RA 6426?
There is a very strong possibility that he will disclose everything.
That's good enough for me, Mr.
Thank you
Counsel.
very much.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
The
President.
Majority Floor Leader.
yes, we take note of the motion filed by Senator Pimentel and the manifestation, although there is not we do not have a vote being called. But nevertheless, we can take it up on Monday during the caucus.
Now, before we adjourn, I just want to find out if your purpose is really to make a full disclosure, then this is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, of the bank accounts of the Chief Justice. Why don't you select just a few of those you mentioned to be subpoenaed, to be presented as witnesses, who can substantiate the contents of the documents that they submitted to my office, so that we will shorten the hours of examining witnesses.
Precisely, Mr. President. We intend to put to very good use the time you have granted us.
Yeah, evaluate the witnesses. You may not need the 11 people,
But we request anyway that the subpoena be issued, and we will make the according evaluation. If they are merely corroborative, then obviously there would be no need.
with that understanding. Oh,
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Mr. President.
So with that, Mr. President, may I ask the Sergeant at Arms to make an announcement?
Please all rise. All persons are commanded to remain in their places until the Senate President and the Senators have left the session hall.
Mr. President, I move that we adjourn until 2 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday.